So I think it's safe to say that we all pretty much saw this coming. Apparently, Warner Brothers Discovery just recently announced a couple of changes that are coming up to their future lineup of DC films. And obviously, with James Gunn taking over, a lot of things were pretty much up in the air. Nobody really knew exactly what was going to be happening with DC because obviously that's all up to Peter Safran and also James Gunn to make their decisions and see which way they wanted to go. But apparently, one of the casualties that are coming up from the new DC lineup is the fact that Warner Brothers just recently announced, according to Bounding Into Comics on a recent announcement, that Wonder Woman 3 Patty Jenkins' treatment reportedly did not fit in with plans for DC's future, so they canned Wonder Woman 3. Wonder Woman 3 will not be seeing the light of day. Now, I actually liked the initial Wonder Woman movie. I thought the first Wonder Woman movie was pretty good. I don't know if a lot of you guys would agree, but I think it was pretty good. But unfortunately, Wonder Woman 1984 was pretty freaking terrible. It was a bad movie overall, and they took a complete 180 in terms of the character and how they wanted to push certain identity politics into it and certain ideologies. The first one, everybody could love that movie, but the second one, unfortunately, they only wanted a certain crowd to love that movie. So let's get further into the article, guys. It says, to the absolute surprise of no one, which basically what I said, who saw the amazing Amazon's last cinematic waste of time, Warner Brothers Discovery has passed on Patty Jenkins' third Wonder Woman film after her treatment was reportedly determined to not fit in with the studio's newly revised plans for DC's storehouse of IPs. At first relayed to The Hollywood Reporter by alleged insider sources on December 7th, Jenkins' return trip to Themyscira is not moving forward and is considered dead in its current incarnation. According to said sources, the decision to pass on the Jenkins and veteran DC scribe Geoff Johns' co-written threequel was determined after the director had submitted her treatment. However, after doing so, Jenkins was called to meet with current DC Studios heads James Gunn and Peter Safran, as well as Warner Brothers Pictures co-chairs and co-CEO Michael DeLuca and Pamela Abdy, who in turn broke the news to the filmmaker, telling her that the project, as it stood, did not fit in with the new but still unfolding plans for DC Studios. Now, I'm not really sure what the plan was for the latest Wonder Woman. I'm sure it's not going to be anything that would be remotely interesting. I'm almost positive, considering how the last one went. She thought she was probably going to be able to move forward with even more of what the last movie gave us, and a lot of people did not like the last movie. So I don't really think that this is going to be any shocker to anybody. You know, like when I saw this article, I was like, oh, okay. I kind of saw that coming, especially over the last announcements with James Gunn and Peter Safran to kind of taking a second look at everything. I was basically seeing that Wonder Woman was going to be one of the ones that were going to take the cut. I thought Aquaman was going to take a cut as well, but of course, I mean, Aquaman is still going to be coming out. At least that's how it seems anyway, but Wonder Woman taking the cut doesn't shock me at all. But let's see exactly what it says further. So it says, in light of this news, the actress behind the studio's latest live-action portrayal of the iconic hero, Gal Gadot, took to her personal Twitter to express gratitude for the time she got to spend in the Golden Tiara. A few years ago, it was announced that I was going to play Wonder Woman, said the actress, sharing a picture of her character as depicted in her first solo outing. I've been so grateful for the opportunity to play such an incredible, iconic character. And more than anything, I'm grateful for you, she added to fans. Can't wait to share her next chapter with you. Though details outside of its mere existence never officially made their way to the public, according to Gigosity founder Mikey Sutton's own sources, Warner Brothers Discovery wanted an epic venture that unites Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman, Ben Affleck's Batman, and Henry Cavill's Superman. The reason for Wonder Woman's solo line ending in team-up, explained Sutton, was that to WB CEO David Zaslav, these icons form the heart of the DCEU, and that's true. A lot of people would agree with that. When it comes to DC as a whole, this is basically the trinity that they always talk about. So it wouldn't surprise me that they were going to hold on so tightly to these three particular characters to frontline their DCEU. It says this announcement comes shortly after Jenkins' October 8th appearance at the Matera Film Festival, wherein she revealed that just wrote last week the final scene for Wonder Woman 3, and I thought I'd be interested to see what happens next. They have asked us to think of ways to do more, and it accidentally happens, but you never know. Jenkins added, I have a lot of other films I'm excited to do as well. Sadly, it seems Jenkins' appraisal of her career plans may have been a bit premature. In addition to Wonder Woman 3, Jenkins had previously been attached to a direct the Rogue Squadron film for Disney. However, the film has since been quietly shelved from Disney's release schedule. And you guys notice that every time they shelve something, they try to be as quiet as possible about it. They almost don't even announce it. They'll announce it and then they'll just try and pray that it just disappears from the headlines as quickly as possible, and they never talk about it ever again because they want people to stop talking about it. Disney does not want to admit their failures, and most studios don't want to admit their failures. That's just how it is. So they're not going to come out and talk about it nonstop 24/7 like they did with Batgirl. It says, as a Star Wars spinoff was her only publicly announced project outside of Wonder Woman 3, with this latest cancellation, it seems the director's work slate has effectively been cleared. Further, given WBD's reason for canceling the film, as well as their recent hiring of Gunn and Safran to salvage their struggling DC line, Wonder Woman 3's cancellation provides further evidence in support of the theory that the upcoming The Flash will serve as Flashpoint to reboot the franchise. As noted by THR, a Warner's insider cautions that no plans have been finalized and that the Flash remains an unlocked picture. And they keep saying over and over and over again that there are no plans finalized for anything. It seems like DC as a whole right now still, even with James Gunn and Peter Safran at the helm of it all, they still basically don't know what the hell they're going to do with it. They're kind of trying to see what they can actually salvage and what they can actually add to it. They don't necessarily want to reboot the entire thing, it seems like. It seems like they want to keep as much as they can to make it relevant and to try to keep as much money that they spent, relatively still useful, because they spent so much money on these movies. They don't necessarily want to make them non-existent. They don't necessarily want to make them something that doesn't count towards whatever their DCEU plans are. But it looks like they're getting closer and closer to having to do a full-on reboot, because at this point, they're canceling so many projects, or they're holding off so many projects, or so many projects are up in the air and nobody knows what's going to happen. And it just seems like nobody has any information other than James Gunn and Peter Safran, which is exactly what he said in my last video when I covered the rumor regarding Henry Cavill. James Gunn basically said that the only two people in the entirety of the DC studios that knows exactly what's going to be happening or going on is James Gunn and Peter Safran. They're the only two that knows what's going to happen. And even saying that doesn't even seem too likely, because at the end of the day, every time they get spoken to in an interview, it seems like everything is quote unquote up in the air. So they might just be trying to hold back stuff to try to, make it, build momentum. I have no idea at the end of the day what DC's doing, but we're going to see further on what they decide to do in future movies and what's going to stick and what's not. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you did enjoy, and if you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought of today's story, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.